Somebody British.
Hey guys, it's me, Empress. I'm doing my thoughts on the Whitney Houston movie. Even though I said I was not going to do my thoughts, I was leaving it to the rest of y'all to handle that. But I am going to do my thoughts because I've heard a lot of interesting things. And so I'm just going to give my 2 cents because it's worth something to me anyways. If you like the video, please feel free to comment, thumbs up it, subscribe, however way you want to do it. Excuse me, guys. Anyways, first of all, let me just say I was very excited when it came on. I'm trying to get everybody excited and had some people over and stuff like that, and we watched it. And I enjoyed the movie for what it was. What it wasn't is very good because it wasn't the Aaliyah movie that was. It seemed as if they was making it up as they were going along, and the casting was horrible or everything else. Here, starting with the casting, I thought it was fairly good, except for the Bobby dude. I really wasn't feeling him at all. But ultimately, he took on this kind of Bobby essence. I didn't like that wig or hairpiece or whatever it was up on the top. You could keep on seeing up under it in the back. I thought Yaya did a great job. At one point, I forgot it was Yaya and got into the whole essence she captured of Whitney for sure. Robin, we knew about Robin, but we didn't really know her like that to say that they had a relationship or whatever. But I have to say, I'm in the age group that I know when Whitney came out. I remember seeing her in her first videos and everything, and it was interesting how Clive Davis put her out there on the scene. He wasn't no big announcement, nothing, just let her go ahead and start with videos and things like that. She was a little rough around the edges, but by the time he got through with her, he got her to what he wanted her to look like. People don't seem like they understand that he created her. Whitney would be the first one to tell you and have that she was from the hood. She had 2 other older brothers. We knew of Sissy through gospel music, if you listened to gospel music at that time. So we were familiar with her. But she was the baby. She was spoiled thin. She was spoiled until the day that she died because she came from that. She wasn't this person that they used to try to write about in the blogs, that she was a princess, I don't know, diva person. That wasn't her at all. She was very down to earth, and as many interviews I've heard with her or other people talking about her when she was living and since she's passed, say the same thing, that she was very down to earth and she was fun and friendly and everything else. And she was a Leo. It just so happens I have a Leo daughter who happens to be a person who is fun, funsy, friendly, generous, generous to me to a fault. But she also likes a lot of her alone time, like in the cave, the lion's cave, I like to call it. The movie, I've written this on different people's vlogs, and it was that it was good, but it was narrow. And I want to give a shout out to Much Love Kentucky, or Nina, because she nailed it when she talked about, if you haven't listened to hers, go listen to her thoughts, that the movie ended up being a lot about Bobby. Think about it now. When we were looking for the Whitney story, but we're seeing her and Bobby getting together. Now, I'm going to leave the drug part out for this moment. I'll talk about that later. But we saw them getting together. We saw him right off the bat talking smack, trash to her, or what have you. We see him in clubs with his ex-friend that just got out of prison. We see him there when his ex-friend got shot and all the dude's brains was on Bobby's face. We see Bobby having writer's block. We see him trying to write. We see him going to a meeting to see Clive Davis, thinking it was going to be his time to shine because MCA was crap to him. We saw Bobby in rehab. We saw him trying to do the clean and sober thing, and basically he was by himself trying to do that. It was Bobby, 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 Bobby. And every time we'd see Whitney, she was in concert or on stage or what have you, but it wasn't about her or wilding out or getting high. How much of that is true, how much of that's fake, I don't know. Because the only person that's going to ever know that is Bobby. And you can tell, if you watch the interview after, Bobby has an extreme loyalty to Whitney. Not Whitney's family, but to Whitney. And there's certain things that you can tell he's not going to talk about. I would have liked to seen what caused Whitney to be a part of being Bobby Brown. He said that she wasn't supposed to be in it, but she kept showing up. So obviously she wanted to be in it. I would like to see what life was like on the set with her and Denzel Washington. If you watch the Preacher's Wife, they had a tremendous amount of chemistry between them. You know what, honestly, I didn't really need to see Bobby and Whitney getting down. That was something back in the day when I know Whitney. I'm not talking about when y'all young folks know Whitney, but that was something back in the day that never crossed my mind as far as how they was rocking and rolling in the bed. I did not need to see that. I really didn't. You know, I really didn't. I didn't need to see Bobby in the bed with that one chick getting it in and buck naked and ding-a-ling hanging and stuff. I didn't need to see that. I think Angela, she probably did go back and do a recut, to be honest with you. I think that she looked at that Aaliyah and saw the backlash on that, because she showed up on my timeline talking about the movie. That is the truth. She showed up with comments and stuff right on my timeline. So it was clear to me that she had looked at Aaliyah and was going to do something more honest or truthful or whatever. But the one thing that we all have to keep in mind, it's a tell-all. She ended up not getting permission from anybody to talk about, do, perform, show anything. That's why Deborah Cox had to sing the songs that Whitney was saying, and then Yaya, who played Whitney, had to lip sync to her. I think there was a disconnect in the lip syncing, because I don't like to look at a movie and I can see, oh, you lip syncing. I don't know if Yaya was even into Whitney Houston. Just because I love Whitney don't mean that she did. There's a lot of people out here call themselves doing pop, R&B. These Justin Timberlakes and Katy Perry and all that. That shit is pop music, but they want to label it R&B. It's not R&B. It's not R&B. If you want to know what R&B is, go listen to Whitney. Although she started getting into the pop. But go listen to Luther Vandross. Oh my God. Go listen to, oh my goodness. What's his name? Hot Grease. Al Green. Go look for some real R&B music. And you'll see what I'm talking about. Because there were artists in our day was supposed to be labeled on the R&B just because of their color, but that wasn't R&B. But anyways, I thought the movie was good. I don't usually watch movies twice. It's one shot, one kill for me. So I probably wouldn't watch this again. But they do have coming on tonight. This is January 18th, a Beyond the Music. So that's going to be a little more unauthorized tell-all bio stuff, but just to take a look at it and stuff. I unfortunately, as far as the Whitney doing the coke first, I don't know. I mean, I was there in the 80s. I was in my 20s, and I'm just telling you my age. I was in my 20s. I knew what time it was. I was working a job. I had 2 kids. I was married. Dibbling, dabbling, and this, that, and the other thing. So if I'm dibbling, dabbling based on what my income was, to be honest with you, you think Bobby Brown didn't know what time it was? Everybody in the 70s and 80s was into cocaine, weed, drinking. Not to mention the fact that you had crack. It was in the 80s when crack was huge, AIDS was huge. Bobby Brown did not have his head up under a rock. Now, he did an interview after the show, but that nigga got a gap between his teeth, and you know what that means automatically. You're going to hear only what he wants you to hear. To say that Whitney introduced him to that, or she was doing it before, I'm going to tell you I don't necessarily believe that. I believe that he was surprised to see her doing it, but that had nothing to do with what he was doing. There's no way that, first of all, he introduced her. Because if I'm going to do a drug I haven't done before, I'm not going to do it with you for the first time. I don't care what my feelings are with you. But if you're my family member, like it was her brother who actually said that he introduced her, I'm going to be more willing to do it with you and trust in you than I'm going to do some dude I'm going with or some chick I'm going with. That's not going to happen. It just isn't. You go ahead and do that, and me, I'm going to do something else altogether. So, my eyebrows, like I got two different eyebrows all together, don't I? You didn't tell me that. They need to be cleaned up more. Talk to my daughter. But anyways, I would say to you, watch the movie. Enjoy the movie. Let yourself go. Let yourself get lost in it. There are a lot of things that are true as far as we know, because we weren't there. There's a lot of things that are off, because when Bobby talked in his interview after, there were things that are off. Like he said, he first saw her doing coke on their honeymoon, but he did not say it was the first time he did it. He didn't say he did it. He just said it was the first time he saw her, which I'm sure he didn't expect her because she was a church girl. But in the movie they showed it was after a concert or something. As far as her and Robin, if you are from my era, I don't mean the 90s, I'm talking about when she hit the scene, you know that was all out there, that Robin and her had something going on. And I can tell you what I know from back in those days, for real, Robin always kept her hair short. She always dressed like a dude. We didn't understand it. If chicks was doing that, we didn't know of it. Like it wasn't until the 90s I even heard of lipstick lesbians and that type of thing, which is an old term, but those that know what it mean know what it mean. But we saw her like that, and we was like, this is kind of not right. I don't mean in the part of right and wrong, or just in the point that this is interesting. But then even back then they tried to show that they had something going on. I don't know if they did or they didn't. But they try to imply it in the movie. Overall, personally, I give the movie a 6 because it was better directed. It was a little bit better to the time. Although I listened very carefully. Now I can't remember off the top of my head. What was it that Yaya said? I said, they didn't say that back then.
Oh, she said punked.
Oh, yes. He gave her a fake ring to propose, Bobby did. It was just a little ring. She was willing to take it. She wanted that whole, and she really did want that marriage and white picket fence and all that, because that's what we wanted back in that day. She's back from my era. Me and her would have been the same age. But she said, oh, you trying to punk me. We would have not, in the 80s, the early 80s, mid 80s, we would not have known what that meant. No one ever said anything like that. It would have been more like, oh, you playing. Okay, all right, be for real, or something like that. We definitely would say be for real. But not that it's punk. Just a little history lesson for those of you that are quite young. But watch the movie. If you like this video, subscribe, thumbs up. Give me your thoughts. Do you think that this movie could have been a little bit wider as far as who all Whitney worked with? Could we have seen more concert footage? Could we have seen more of her relationship between her and her mom, or many things? You know, of course, I don't want it too broad because then it gets harder to control, I would think, for Angela Bassett to make it come together right. But I think we could have had it a little bit more realistic to me. But overall, I give it a 6, and it was better than the Aaliyah movie. You guys have a great day.